The text message arrived just as I was unwrapping my sandwich in the crowded break room. Leave the building now. Don't tell anyone. Trust me. There was no name attached to the number. For a second, I stared at the screen, expecting another message explaining it was a prank. Nothing came. Around me, coworkers laughed over weekend plans while someone argued with the vending machine. The microwave beeped. Everything felt painfully normal. I worked on the 18th floor of Greystone Financial, a company where every day looked exactly like the one before. Deadlines, meetings, coffee, emails. Yet my hands suddenly felt cold. I typed back. Who is this? No reply. I looked toward the windows overlooking downtown. Cars crawled through traffic below. The city looked peaceful. Maybe it was a wrong number. Maybe someone was joking. I picked up my sandwich again, but before I could take another bite, my phone vibrated. You have less than 3 minutes. Leave through the south stairwell. Don't use the elevators. A strange feeling settled in my stomach. Whoever sent the message knew the building. I stood, forcing myself to stay calm. I'm grabbing some fresh air, I told Melissa from accounting. She barely looked up. Bring me coffee if you're going out. I smiled weakly. Sure. Instead of walking toward the elevators, I headed for the emergency stairwell. Every step echoed louder than the last. By the time I reached the lobby, I almost laughed at myself. I had abandoned lunch because of anonymous texts. I pushed through the revolving doors and stepped onto the sidewalk. Exactly 30 seconds later, every fire alarm in the building exploded into life. A deafening shriek filled the air. People inside began pouring toward the exits. My heart slammed against my ribs. How? How had the sender known? Security guards rushed to organize the evacuation while hundreds of employees flooded the street. Melissa spotted me. You were already outside? I just came down. Before I could explain, another message appeared. Keep walking. Don't stop across the street. This time I obeyed without hesitation. I crossed another block just as police cars and fire engines screamed toward the building. People gathered behind barricades, whispering nervously. Then came the explosion. The blast wasn't massive enough to collapse the tower, but windows shattered across the lower floors. Smoke burst from the lobby, followed by frightened screams. The shockwave hit us seconds later. Glass rained onto the pavement. Several people cried. Others stood frozen. I couldn't breathe. If I'd stayed in the break room. My phone buzzed again. You're safe now. I looked wildly around the crowd. Who was watching me? Who are you? I typed. This time an answer arrived. Someone who owed your father a promise. I felt every muscle tighten. My father had died 15 years earlier. He had been a firefighter. No one ever talked about his final rescue except my mother. With shaking fingers, I called the number. It rang once. Twice. Then someone answered. An older man's voice spoke quietly. I hoped you'd leave before the alarms. Who are you? My name is Daniel. I don't know any Daniel. No. But your father did. Silence hung between us. He saved my life during the warehouse fire in 2011. I remembered that story. Dad had carried one survivor out moments before the roof collapsed. He made me promise something, Daniel continued. If I ever had the chance to repay his kindness, I should. I swallowed hard. How did you know about today? I work maintenance for the company that services your building. My heartbeat quickened. This morning I discovered something hidden near the electrical systems. What? A homemade explosive. Police sirens echoed nearby. I reported it immediately, Daniel said. But evacuating a building that size takes time. Management wanted confirmation before sounding alarms. My stomach twisted. So you texted me? I found your employee information while checking maintenance records. Why me? His voice became emotional. Because your last name matched the firefighter who saved me. Tears blurred my vision. My father. He gave me another chance at life. Daniel paused. I couldn't save everyone myself today, but I could save his child. Across the street, firefighters disappeared into the smoke-filled entrance. Watching them, I suddenly saw my father's face in my memory, helmet covered with soot, smiling despite exhaustion. Always helping strangers. Always believing kindness returned someday. I had never imagined it literally would. A detective approached me. Sir, we'd like to ask everyone nearby a few questions. I nodded. I'm coming. Before hanging up, I whispered into the phone. Thank you. Daniel chuckled softly. No. He cleared his throat. Thank your father. The line disconnected. Hours later, investigators confirmed the explosive had been discovered before it could cause catastrophic damage. The quick evacuation had saved hundreds of lives. Most people praised security procedures. Others praised the firefighters. No one knew about the anonymous text. I never told anyone. Some stories belong to the people who quietly choose courage without expecting recognition. That evening I drove to the cemetery. The sun was setting, bathing the rows of gravestones in golden light. I stood before my father's grave carrying the sandwich I had never finished. It felt silly. It also felt right. I almost ignored it, I admitted quietly. I almost stayed. The breeze moved gently through the trees. For years I'd wondered whether one person's goodness really mattered in a world this complicated. Standing there, I finally had my answer. My father had saved one stranger. That stranger had remembered for 15 years. One act of bravery had crossed time, careers, and generations before returning to save me during an ordinary lunch break. Life doesn't always reward kindness immediately. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes gratitude travels silently through people we've never met. Sometimes the greatest inheritance isn't money, property, or success. Sometimes it's the unseen ripple left behind by someone who chose to help another human being when no one was watching. As I walked back toward my car, my phone vibrated one final time. Unknown number. Only 3 words appeared on the screen. Promise fulfilled, son. The number disappeared forever. I smiled through tears, looked once more at my father's name engraved in stone, and whispered into the quiet evening. You kept saving lives, even after you were gone.